So, Donald Trump just demanded control over Canada's fresh water, and what happened next may be the most consequential no in the history of the US-Canada relationship. Because this wasn't just a trade negotiation or a diplomatic spat, but a fundamental clash over the very essence of national survival. We are witnessing the opening moves of a resource conflict that experts have feared for decades, a moment where the polite veneer of North American diplomacy has been stripped away to reveal a raw, existential struggle for the most valuable substance on Earth. The headlines you are seeing are only scratching the surface of a geopolitical earthquake that began when the former and future president issued a directive that essentially treats the Great Lakes not as a sovereign Canadian treasure, but as a continental asset subject to American appropriation. It is a move that redefines the concept of neighborly relations, transforming a border into a fortress and a resource into a weapon. But before we look at the terrified reaction from global markets, we have to understand the sheer magnitude of the refusal that came from Ottawa, a refusal spearheaded not just by the sitting prime minister, but articulated with devastating economic precision by Mark Carney, who stepped into the fray to deliver what history will likely record as the civilizational no. This creates a scenario where the irresistible force of American thirst meets the immovable object of Canadian sovereignty. Wait until you see the specific data points Carney used to shut down the argument, and you will understand why this isn't about politics anymore. It is about physics, biology, and the hard limits of reality. Hit subscribed because this changes everything about how you view the map of North America. Now, let me give you the context that makes this demand so terrifyingly logical from the American perspective. Because to understand the aggression, you have to understand the desperation. The United States is currently facing a hydrological collapse that is invisible to most citizens until they turn on the tap and nothing comes out. We are looking at the systematic failure of the American water infrastructure and the depletion of its natural reserves. The Colorado River, which supports 40 million people and a $5 trillion economy, is dying. It has been over-allocated for a century, drained by cities that shouldn't exist in locations where rain refuses to fall. The reservoirs at Lake Mead and Lake Powell have dropped to levels that threaten the ability to generate hydroelectric power, creating a feedback loop of energy crises and water shortages. But it goes deeper than the rivers. Beneath the breadbasket of America lies the Ogallala Aquifer, a vast underground sea that makes modern agriculture possible in the Midwest. Due to decades of industrial-scale pumping, the water table in parts of Kansas and Texas has dropped by over 100 feet. And once that water is gone, it does not come back in human timescales. It is effectively a mined resource, and the mine is running empty. Add to this the crumbling state of municipal water systems, from the lead pipes in Flint to the complete system failures in Jackson, Mississippi, and you see a nation facing a capital expenditure deficit of $625 billion just to maintain the status quo. This is the backdrop against which Donald Trump looked north. He sees Canada, a nation